you get on campus in 2007. Obviously, you know, Coach Tanner's really got that thing humming at that point. I mean, when you think about it, I just think back to the teams you were on and some of the bashers, some of the sluggers that were on those teams. I mean, some of the, you know, most decorated offensive players in Gamecocks baseball history. But again, just talk about your recruitment. What led you to South Carolina, the relationship with Ray Tanner? Obviously, again, you're in the state of North Carolina, so you're an out-of-state guy. When did South kind of come up for you, and what made you want to be a Gamecock?
So my high school coach took me down to a game in 2004, at Sarge Fry. I mean, I had never seen anything like that. I mean, I was 16. I kind of fell in love with it. You know, I grew up going to NC State camps every year. So I was always this summer, I just thought I was going to go. And then, like I said, I went down to Columbia and kind of fell in love with the city. But they didn't know who I was yet. So I had to go to a hitting camp, and I hit a few balls out at the hitting camp and got to throw bullpen to Coach Calvi. Actually caught me with no gear.
Really?
And then I came back down about 3-4 weeks later and offered, and I drug it out a little bit longer than I wanted to, because my mom wanted me to visit more than one place.
Right.
So there were stops at NC State and Stanford and some other places, but I mean, it just, nowhere was even close for me personally.
I was going to say, you hit a couple of balls out. Again, that's Coach Tanner. That'll make him, that'll catch his eye. That's his thing, right? That'll cut it on for him. So you were a guy, it sounded like that. You had a lot of pretty big D1 offers though. So, I mean,
I only had one offer because I committed pretty early.
Okay. I got you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there were a bunch of other places that were in the conversation. One that I left out is another school down the road that wears purple.
Yeah.
But I like I said, it was tough deciding, but not really at the same time. I mean, I wanted to go there since I was 16. And I mean, I still remember when Coach Tillman offered me at a basketball game, and I'm normally a pretty stoic dude, but it was hard to control the excitement. He probably knew that they had me then, because I was grinning from ear to ear with the offer.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned NC State, by the way, because I doubt you made the connection at that point. Maybe you did, but obviously Coach Tanner was at NC State for like 7-8 years or whatever. And I'm just curious to get your take again, the overall relationship with Tanner, not just in the recruiting process, but while you were there, because, you know, it's really interesting. I've had Gamecock baseball players on from, you know, early 2000s to, you know, the end of his career. And it's so funny to hear the stories, because, you know, we all know the consensus is he was tough. He was definitely tough to play for, but he got the best out of his guys. And I'll even have guys from like the early 2000s joke around and say those guys in the 2010s have no clue how bad it was. With Coach Tanner softened up a little bit, but no, overall, I mean, playing for a legend like that, I mean, his resume speaks for itself, and what you guys did and the team you were part of in 2010, and when they won it back to back, and again, a guy that, heck, I was looking a little bit earlier, over 1,000 wins in college baseball as a head coach. I mean, that just, again, that speaks for itself. Just talk about what that relationship was like.
I mean, it was unbelievable being able to learn from someone like that. And, you know, there are a bunch of times where he would say something and I didn't really agree with it in the moment. But now as a coach, I have arrived at those things independently, and then the light bulb goes off. Like, it's something he said, he was right. You know, and it's nice to have that experience to pull from in my day to day. Just being able to play for a guy like that, you know. And I think I was in the dugout for his 1,000th win, which was neat, to be there for that too. And the thing that he does really, really well, and that I try desperately to do, is he took the time to understand each person and then how to motivate individuals instead of throwing that blanket over and just doing everything the same way for everybody. You know, and I think that was how he was able to get more out of guys, you know, including, you know, myself. I mean, and you think about the names that were down there, you know, these are guys that it's easy to just, I mean, let them do their own thing and leave them alone. But there's always a little more you can pull out of somebody.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I haven't played for anybody else that's anywhere close